Hey guys, listen, we've had a really good year as far as programming. I want to give a little more context in terms of what I want to do now. Um, I don't want to make extra work for you, but this is what I'm looking at as far as I've built in terms for these calendars. When we started them, where I see them ending in the terms of us building programs that are tech free, throwing program free, that doesn't require us to monitor, and I can put the plan out. That's going to bring a lot more money to the table as I want to have a one time payment. I'm having a hard time securing people's payments, and I know I need a plan that's a little bit lesser expensive that we don't have to manage. So basically, when you see the term, just keep programming as you do, because there could be players on it that are still training, and they're using the arm care device, and we're still building it out. Tyler, I'd like for you to go through each of these calendars and identify how many players are on them. So please update those. And I do want a list for each one of these calendars, because I bet you there are people on there that are paying zero, and they're still training for free, and it could be months. I know that it's been really hectic for me to try to manage all aspects of the business. So I really need some help here, understanding who's on these things. And then if they're not paying, I might go to them and say, okay, we got a deal where you don't need your technology. And you're just paying a one-time fee, and you get training for the entire year. And then I'm going to set them back. October, at the end of this month, so I know some of you programmed into November. I really am hoping that what we can do in November is go back to an off-season format for these calendars. So what I would do is probably go back to November. A lot of these have been programmed in November as a start. Like, for example, in these calendars, or where we've been as far as the off-season, and go back to more of an off-season plan. Some of these calendars we never changed at all, because they kind of work in season, off season, preseason, with some space between training days, and especially with high intensity throwing days and games. But I'd like for us to go into an off season mode in November, and going forward. I don't want you to go way too in advance of December, not into January or anything like that, because there may be opportunities for us to make some changes, update some things. But any calendar that I have done, don't program anymore for those. Okay. So, for example, this one here, we have a short-term lower body performance, return beyond performance program. We can put people on there if they have an injury to, a knee or an ankle or something. We have a process to do that now, to switch. For Tyler and CJ, I do want you to build out, let's just say, 4 months. Well, where are we now? October, November, December, January, February. I'd say if we can build out a 6 month program that is 7 to 11 years old, that you guys can handle, dumbbell free, body weight band, stability ball, things like that, that a coach could run off their phone and have players utilize it at young age levels. Cuff weights are fine. I'd like to build that in place. Definitely evaluate the programming to say, that might be really tough, but if, a 1 pound cuff weight, they could handle it, especially if we're doing like dumbbell isos, like this. We should have ones like, if I had, let's just see here, a yielding, something like this. Hang on. I probably have it here. A yielding isometric. Let's put it in here. With some of these, like if I had something like this, but they had a cuff weight on, of 2 to 5 pounds, that could work, where they don't have to grip anything heavy. So I definitely want to be able to have you guys build something out here that I could take a look at. Let's get a couple months done, and then I can approve. But I do want to see if we can sell this to teams at a lower cost, and have us administer it. There's a lot of open calendars here that I started that we didn't finish. I may pull some stuff. That will be mostly on my end to put some things together from it. This calendar here, so anytime it says term, I just basically am putting in what I would pull out to make that tech free option. But I want to make sure, again, the players are on it. There may be some guys on it that are definitely not potentially not paying anymore, or we've moved on to other calendars. The key with this one here, I'd like to make sure that we are again in November following an off-season format. Things got kind of wonky after the season, and I'm noticing October, maybe November and December on this calendar is some more Mike that is still in game with game schedules and bullpens, and we're in the winter. So I want you guys to take a look at it, see if we can flick it back to, I'd like it to flick it back to an off-season plan come November, because there won't be any real fall season games or inter squads or any of those things. And it's the same thing too. These terms that we have here, I'm just looking at what I would pull out if I wanted a tech-free option, but just keep programming as normal, because we're going to find out how many players are on the plan actually, and I'm going to cross-reference if they're paying, and go from there. Hockey definitely done. I'm probably going to sell 13-month programs, so that players always have an extra month to kind of figure out if they're renewing. Gives us a little bit of time to figure out what we're going to do with them and going forward. Doesn't put the pressure on them to end right at 12 months, okay? Pine Bluff, this one's done. Just make sure these are just Pine Bluff players. Those guys aren't paying anything anymore. Grays Harbor, this is just putting the terms in here. I want to know, there's 23 guys on there. I want to know if they're all Grays Harbor guys, because a lot of those guys didn't end up paying, but I do have some Grays Harbor guys on there, and I think I did put some players who are not Grays Harbor on these calendars. Cardinal Mooney, that will come up pretty soon. These guys will all be done as of, I believe, December 1st next year, and I got to make sure that all the calendars are updated where they're ending on that date. I got to make sure that they repay, or they may not. So that's also an issue. But I'm covering all the terms now, so I know when we started what would be a 13-month plan. But that doesn't say done. So I want you to keep programming those ones. There's only a few here. So Hockey Mike, Pine Bluff, I believe, is done, John, for this 6-day routine. And I'm going to figure out what to do with it after, and selling it as a potential lead in for a tech-free option. So just, I'll communicate where we may have to bring that towards. John, I might need to bring this up a little bit more into November. Take a look. Maybe I'll put that in now. Take a look and make sure that November 12th there's programming on this calendar up until. So then I know I have 13 months to grab, and it will give the player a little bit more, than other companies are doing. So reach out if you guys have any issues, and appreciate all the work you're doing. Okay, just want to give you an update when we're flicking to the off season, and plans to make more money coming in the door, and streamline this some more. Thanks, guys.